I have made content every day, sometimes multiple times a day, for 175 days straight. I have talked to you about 2 million people being starved to death. I have talked to you about children being murdered. I have talked to you about entire family lines being wiped out of the registry. I have talked to you about homes being bulldozed. I have talked to you about losing my own family members. I have talked to you about mothers giving birth without anesthesia. I have talked to you about babies dying in incubators. I have told you stories about men being kidnapped from their families, held hostage, stripped naked, abused. I have talked to you about the rape of our women, but I have not talked to you about land. I've talked about land in the context of colonization. I've written poems about indigenous connection to land, but I've never actually just talked about the land. And this is why I have put out content after content talking about media literacy. I have done podcast after podcast talking about the dehumanization of my people and all of the death and destruction that we have experienced, not just in the last 6 months, but over the course of the last almost 100 years. And nothing makes me emotional or feel weak than when I talk about our land. Today is Land Day in Palestine. It's called Yom al-Ard in Arabic. And it commemorates this day, March 30th, back in 1976, when 6 Palestinians were killed. Over 100 Palestinians were injured in protests after the Israeli government ordered 2,000 hectares of Palestinian land to be confiscated from Palestinians. 2,000 hectares is equivalent to nearly 5,000 acres. It is the size of nearly 3,000 soccer fields. For New Yorkers, that is the size of the bottom tip of Manhattan up to Central Park, which has its own fucked up history that I will get into another day. Israel was successful in stealing that land from Palestinians. When people talk about Land Day in Palestine, it typically comes from a place of commemoration. That gives off the assumption that this is a thing of the past. But land theft continues to happen in Palestine every single day. Just a couple days ago, on March 22nd of this year, 2024, Israel ordered for the confiscation of an additional 800 hectares of Palestinian land. That's almost 2,000 acres. That is the size of over 1,100 soccer fields. They are stealing more land to build more illegal Jewish-only settlements, which, if you didn't hear about it, just recently on March 6th of this year, the Israeli government approved an additional 3,500 new settlements to be built on Palestinian land. From November of 2022 to October of 2023, Israel had approved the building of 24,000 illegal settlements. In honor of Land Day and in all that we have lost as a people, Palestinians on this day hold vigils, we protest, and all across Palestine we plant olive trees. The planting of olive trees is something that Palestinians do as a reaffirmation of our connection and belonging to the land. Notice how we say we belong to the land, not that the land belongs to us. Since 1967, so not even going far back enough, but since 1967, Israel has destroyed over 800,000 Palestinian olive trees by either uprooting them or burning them. And again, for my New Yorkers, that is the size of 33 Central Parks. Again, I promise one day we will get into this. One of Israel's and the United States' most sought after tactics is disconnection. I talk about disconnection from the land a lot, but it's not just disconnection of the diaspora from our ancestral lands. It's also disconnection from each other. It's disconnection from different areas of Palestine. Palestine is one whole country on its own. There's a reason why when media or politicians speak about Gaza, they talk about it as if it's its own nation. And so I hope that this Land Day can serve as a reminder that while Gaza deserves our immediate 24/7 attention, we have to pay attention to all of Palestine. all of Palestine deserves our attention. My personal point of this video, and every other video I've ever done and will continue to do, is that I just want to go home. I just want to go home. I want to plant an olive tree, and I want to harvest the olive trees that my grandfathers planted. That's all I want to do. And to ask you, in honor of Land Day in Palestine, to do something for the land that you are on today, wherever you are in the world. Do something for the land. Plant a tree, plant a flower, water a plant, whatever you do, do it in honor of Palestine.